Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aylin, and today we are going to be doing my September and October wrap-ups. So, in the month of September, I had a pretty average reading month. I believe I read about 9 books in September, which is pretty good. And then in October, life hit, my mental health hit. It all just came together for the perfect storm, and it was not great. I read around like 8 to 12 books a month. In October, I think I read 4. I was a little bit bummed, if I'm honest, but it's okay. And today we're going to talk about all of the books that I read in both of those months to make this kind of a fairly normal sized wrap up for me. All right, so yes, we have 13 books to talk about today, 9 books in September, 4 books in October. Let's get the ball rolling. I, in these past 2 months, have read a lot of like memoirs and self-help books and celebrities giving you life lessons because I needed a lot of help mentally. I just didn't know where I was at. I was feeling really unmotivated and it was just a genuine all-around struggle. For me, that was a real challenge and led to a lot of what I read being escapist or help me figure out what the hell I'm doing with my life. So the first book, we're kicking it off strong with Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I wanted to read this book because I really enjoyed Matthew McConaughey's graduation speech for the University of Texas, Houston, I believe. It's literally like a 45-minute speech where he talks about truths of life that he has come across and obviously believes to be true. First of all, I really enjoyed listening to his voice, so listening to his audiobook was a lot of fun and very relaxing. And I also just think that he's very insightful, and I don't think that every celebrity memoir is this way. Going in, I felt like I was gonna get a lot out of this. So I believe I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. If you want a summary of everything, you could just go watch his speech. A lot of what he says in Green Lights is in that speech. This is just kind of like the long form version and has a lot more stories in it, just from his life, which I personally really enjoyed. And I felt very good and motivated and confident after reading this book, which was kind of what I was looking for, was just like a bunch of reassurance. So it didn't last very long, but I was thankful for it while it was there. I also feel like this is one that I could easily see myself going back to and rereading, or at least rereading passages and stuff. I often go back and re-listen to his speech. So yeah, 2 thumbs up, 5 out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed this one. As far as celebrity memoirs go, I really like this one. Then I did something super stupid and I listened to All Spell Breaks Loose by Anna Chase, which is the 10th book in the Spellbound series. I was on book number 9. Scribd, I believe, recommended me this one, even though I was on book number 9, and I listened to it, and then I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. This is a cozy mystery series. It's 10 books long. I skipped book number 9. I probably won't go back and reread it, or like read it for the first time, because I have technically completed the series now, even though I didn't read book number 9, which is gonna bother me. But it's set in this town where the magical creatures cannot leave. Humans can kind of pass through and they don't have the wards there, but if a magical creature enters the like perimeter, what is it called, the boundaries of this town, they cannot leave because there's a ward there. And we are following our main character Emma, who becomes the town like defense attorney, and she lives in the old defense attorney's house who has passed away, and there is a gay vampire ghost there, romance with a fallen angel, and it's absolutely beautiful. This ending was a little bit cheesy. I didn't love this one, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars if I remember correctly, but it was still fun. I still enjoy the series, and I might go back and read book number 9 and also some of the other books that Annabelle Chase has published. I was going to say posted, because she has a few other cozy mystery series, but all around like a 3.5 out of 5 series. Fun, quick, easy listen to, and I didn't hate it. Just kind of bummed that I skipped a book. Then I finally freaking finished The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. I did not like this one. What did I give it? I gave it 2 stars. That was generous of me. This is an age gap romance and also ex-boyfriend's dad trope book. It's the first book in the Nashville Neighborhood series. I read this one because I absolutely loved the pool boy. Did not like this one very much. There was a lot of smut, and I've heard it compared, like, if you like Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas but you wanted more smut, read this. It just felt like the characters maybe had chemistry of the sexual variety, but like there was no emotional chemistry there. I didn't feel anything. I didn't understand why these characters wanted to be together, other than it was like rebellious for the girl because it was her ex-boyfriend's dad. The dad's fantasies surrounding this girl were fucking weird. I did not like them. It creeped me out. I don't know if this trope is for me. I still have Birthday Girl on my physical TBR, so I am going to try that down the road, but in this setting, it felt very weird and I did not like it. And I don't mind age gap romances. Like, I read The Pool Boy and I really, really enjoyed that one because the characters talked about stuff and I believed the emotional connection. This one, not so much. And I feel like they also didn't have to fight that hard to be together. Like, I also didn't care if they ended up together or not. So, as a romance, not great. If you're looking for a bunch of smut, that's pretty much all this one is. Have at it. Then I read a book that very much was for me, and that is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the third book in the Inheritance Games series. I loved books 1 and 2, and the same holds true for this one. I have a dedicated reading vlog for this book, actually, so hopefully you guys will see that sometime this month. I read it right when it came out and it was incredible. I think it made me cry at some point. I don't remember, but I loved this one. I loved all the twists, and I'm very excited that we are getting more with characters in this world, but not exactly a new series. Yeah, it was amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. 10 out of 10. You can't tell me otherwise. Then I read The Plot Twist by Bethany Turner. I did not like this book. I've even written a review. Let's read, shall we? 2.5. The plot of this book wandered for so long and is not really what it was pitched as. It was fine, but also pointless. Maybe if we'd stuck to just 1 to 2 guys popping up on the anniversary each year instead of like 4 or 5. Yeah, this book was chaotic. It's about this girl who is a screenwriter, and she goes to this coffee shop. She's writing her screenplay one day, and this guy who's an aspiring actor comes over because this other guy is like hitting on her, and so she's like trying to escape this conversation. He's trying to help her. She's like, I don't need your help. And then she ends up using his help anyway, and they talk about, you know, what they're doing there. He's running late for an audition, and they're like, we'll meet back here in 9 years. You're gonna be a famous screenplay writer. I'm gonna be a famous actor, and I'm gonna star in one of your movies one day. And then, like a year later, she sees that guy on the television show. And it's kind of like November 9, only in the sense that like they agree to meet up in those 9 years, but something happens on the anniversary every single year of the original date that they were at that cafe. There were so many guys in and out of this book that it was like I didn't know who she was going to end up with because I didn't know where the author wanted this to go. It felt like the author had so many different ideas for it and she just wasn't sure, so she shoved all of the ideas into one, all of the twists and turns, when like you could have broken that up into multiple books, not as like a series or something, but like you could have used a different twist for a different book. I don't know, I would have believed, not that I didn't believe the romance because the romance in the end made sense, but it was chaotic, it hurt my brain, and like I said in my review, a little bit pointless. Then I read one of my favorite romances of the year, Undercover Bromance by Lyssa Kay Adams. This was an immediate 5 out of 5 stars. This is the second book in the Bromance Book Club series. It's a book club series that I've been talking about quite a lot actually recently, but it's the second book in the series and it's following some of the wealthiest, most renowned men in Nashville that all come together to form the Bromance Book Club, where they read romance novels in order to help them out with their love lives. So this one we are following Braden, Mac, and Liv, I'm gonna butcher this, Papandreas. I'm so sorry if that's wrong, but it is the sister of the girl in the first book. Enemies to lovers story, love it. And the topics that this book dealt with, like the kind of plot, if you will, aside from the romance, that helps the characters form a bond and come together in the end. I really loved. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Definitely look up content warnings before going into this book, but I loved it. It was absolutely incredible. I fully believed the romance, but again, like, the plot was a lot more meaningful to me in this one. All of the discussions that were had, and Liv as a character, just how strongly she advocates, and she's not without fault. She definitely makes mistakes, and that was frustrating to read about, but I also feel like it's realistic for a character to make mistakes, especially with such sensitive material. And again, like, she should have known better, but I don't know, it just felt very authentic and like a mistake that a lot of people could potentially make when handling the situation that they are handling. So basically, the story starts out where Brayden is taking this other girl, I think Gretchen, on a date to this really expensive place, and it is not her thing. This date is not going well, and Liv is a chef at this restaurant. And she comes out serving one of the most like expensive desserts to them, and I believe it falls, and it's because of Brayden. Like, it's his fault. And the owner of this restaurant is a jerk. I hate him. And so he fires Liv because he has embarrassed her, yada yada yada. It's always her fault. And she finds out some really awful things, and he says, like, I'm gonna make it impossible for you to get a job. So Brayden offers her a job because he feels like he cost her this one, and instead they end up working on a bunch of things together, and it's incredible. It's so good. It's my favorite book in the series. Then, because I was on a bromance book club kick, I read Crazy Stupid Romance. This one I did not love as much. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I just found the plot of this one to be really irritating and frustrating. I have a sore spot, not a soft spot, a sore spot for negligent fathers. And for that, I hated this. I liked the romance. I did. I did not like the plot. And there's a lot of plot in these books, so if you feel like a lot of romance is kind of baseless and nothing really happens, I feel like this could combat that, because a lot of plot is involved in these books, which I really appreciate. I would like to make it clear that I do not think that romance is baseless. I very much love romance. I think what I was trying to say is, if you're newer to romance, and most romance books don't have much of a plot other than these characters dating, this would be a good transition if you read like fantasy or something like that, or murder mystery or contemporary fiction. You might like this. It could be a good soiree into the romance genre, because they do have a lot of plot, but there is also romance. I don't know why I worded it like that. I sound like a jerk, so I'm sorry. I did not like the plot of this one at all. Like I said, it really made me mad. And I did not understand our heroine's perspective or motivations at all. I would have made completely different choices, which is fine. She's a better person than I am. Yeah, it rubs me the wrong way, because like I said, I have a sore spot for this. No thank you. Then, because I was kind of turned off from the series, I read Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. I'm trying to read the books that I have on my shelves, and that was another reason that I read some of the Bromance Book Club series, is because I have a lot of those books on my shelves, so I wanted to read what I have, because I counted how many books I have on my shelf, and the ratio of read versus unread, not cute. I had Tools of Engagement on my shelf. It was available in Scribd. I listened to it. It's like a 3.5. It was okay. I felt like I was missing a scene at the very beginning of the book. I didn't understand the immediate attraction that these characters had. It like felt like they had a history. Granted, this is the 3rd book in the series, and I did not read the rest of the series, so maybe there was more build up there. But everybody says that the other 2 books suck, so I did not want to read them. Yeah, other than that, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. I thought the little girl in this was cute. It's kind of like an HGTV type of setup, and these 2 people have to work together, and they're like enemies to lovers. She's trying to be a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man, and this guy is really trying to get in her pants. I gave it a 4 stars. It's more like a 3.5. Probably wouldn't go back and reread it if I'm honest. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the Bromance Book Club, because that's just what I need. I enjoyed Isn't It Romantic by Alyssa K. Adams, book 4 in the Bromance Book Club series, significantly more than I enjoyed book 3, which I'm very happy to report. This one is following The Russian. If you've read the series, you know. and his estranged wife, who was a childhood friend of his. They got married for a visa, and the plot of this one was very suspenseful, and I really enjoyed this one as well. This is probably my second favorite as far as plot goes. And I also really loved that the Russian was like writing his own romance novel, and that's what the guys helped him with. I thought that that was a very unique take, so that Lyssa Kay Adams was kind of using different things for each one. I really liked that. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Wasn't my favorite, but it definitely wasn't, it didn't make me as angry as the third book did. Then, because I was just on my romance kick, I wanted to read a Talia Hibbert because I love Talia Hibbert's romances, and I've slowly made my way through her backlist. So I read The Roommate Risk. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars as well. This is about these two people who have been friends since college, and they had this chemistry, but our heroine has this rule where she'll like have a benefits kind of situation, or she will be friends, but she cannot be friends with benefits with a guy. And something happens with her apartment gets flooded, just her room, I think because like the bathroom upstairs or something was leaking or whatever, and this guy offers her a place to stay. I really enjoyed Raoul's and Jasmine's friends to lovers connection. I love that they were best friends, and the tension really felt like it was there, so I definitely appreciated that in this romance. Like I said, Talia Hibbert is one of my favorite romance authors, so I really enjoyed this one, and I'm doing a really good job with her backlist, so would recommend that one if you like The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. I feel like you would also like this one. It's a little bit different from the Brown Sisters trilogy, but like I said, I feel like if you liked The Princess Trap, you would like The Roommate Risk. Then I read Lore Olympus Volume 3. Editing me is going to hate having to put all these pictures in, but it's fine. Like I said, this is the third volume in the Lore Olympus graphic novels that have been published very slowly. This was originally a webtoon comic that I actually did read up to like 100 episodes of or something like that. So I've just been rereading these essentially, but it is such a wonderful time, and I loved volume 3. I really enjoyed volume 2, and I loved volume 1 as well. I love this series. It's a Hades and Persephone kind of retelling, and there is a playlist for this that is 10 out of 10, gives you the best reading experience, and like almost brings me to tears every single time. So I will have that linked below if I remember, but it's just on Spotify if you look up like Lore Olympus. I'm pretty sure it's one of the most popular ones, but I love it. It, like I said, it gives me chills. It's the best reading experience I've ever had, and this, I don't know, something about this volume just really worked for me. There was a lot of stuff that I had forgotten in this volume, and reading it was just so freaking wonderful. So I loved this. It was a 5 out of 5 stars for me. It was so good, and I'm very glad that I read it. Then we have another memoir, and that is A Mission for Meeting by Gabriel Conti. I love Jess and Gabriel. I really like their videos, and I was very apprehensive to pick up this book just because I feel like what I said here I also worded wrong initially, so I wanted to correct that. Sometimes it can feel like influencers and celebrities get handed book deals because of their position, and so like some of them don't feel genuine or meaningful, and also I wasn't sure that I would be able to connect fully to everything that was going to be covered in this book. But I also didn't know, that was kind of what made me apprehensive, is like, is this a book deal where, you know, it happens, you know? So I wasn't saying any of that to be mean, it was just what made me nervous. And like with the Matthew McConaughey memoir, I had already listened to him speak, so I kind of had a taste for what that was, and I watch his videos, but it's different when it translates to a book format, whereas with the speech that is already kind of long form, so that was where the apprehension came from, if that makes sense. And again, I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but that was where my head was at. I was nervous, but I was like, you know what? I need something to listen to. It's on Scribd. I was like, let's give it a go. Gabriel Conti, if you didn't know, is a YouTuber. He is very Christian, and he and his wife just make YouTube videos and like vlogs and stuff. I tend to really like them, and I like that they are open about the fact that their relationship has problems, and sometimes life will give you challenges and you have to find a way to work through them. I ended up really enjoying this one a lot more, and you can read my review on Goodreads if you would like, but I genuinely do think that if you need a little bit of help, and I don't think that you necessarily have to believe in God or be Christian to read this, but it might be more frustrating for you to read if you don't believe in God or you're not Christian, which again, like, to each their own. You do you. I'm just trying to tell you how it is, but I don't think that it's a necessity in order to read this book. He just kind of talks about things that his family has been through. He does like little interviews with them, things that he has learned, and he has also dealt with depression, so him noticing signs and things that he is depressed and what that looks like was also very helpful. And for me, it just felt very comforting to know that obviously I'm not the only person who's ever experienced those things, but again, like, hearing that is a different thing than just being like, I'm not the only one, you know what I'm saying? All right, last book, Witchy Volume 2 by Ariel Slimay Reese. I really enjoyed this one. As you would infer, is the sequel to Witchy Volume 1. I really liked this one. I love the art style, and I like the fantasy world. I like all of the conversations that were had in this. I just thought it was really beautiful, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It's set in a world where, depending on how long your hair is, that it determines like how much magic you have, and you could be drafted into like the royal guard, and this girl chops off all her hair, which is a big no-no, and she ends up getting on the like kingdom's most wanted list because of her choices. Book 2, can't really spoil too much, but it was very good. And I also enjoyed how much like confidence and everything she learned in herself and to trust other people. I just thought that it was really beautiful. Those are the 13 books that I read over the past 2 months. Sorry, I always talk a lot, but I also want to make sure that I'm doing better about giving you guys synopses, because I literally suck at that. So my videos aren't the most succinct, especially wrap-ups, but I'm trying to give you all the information. Let me know if you prefer shorter wrap-ups and less information, or longer wrap-ups and more information, where I try to cover all my bases. Don't always do a great job, but I'm trying. Let me know what you guys read in September and October. Link your wrap-up if you want to, or just tell me about it in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. It makes my day, even if I do sometimes take a little bit to respond. I see all of your comments and I do try to respond to all of them. But that is all from me. I hope you're all doing well, reading, mentally, and otherwise. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope to see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.